Fraser Institute has released a report that shows that low oil prices in Alberta aren't the issue when it comes to the deficit. Here in this figure, we can see that the province ran 5 deficits between 2009 and 14, even when oil prices were high, sometimes even sitting at $90 a barrel. Actually, there were surpluses when oil prices were low and deficits when oil was high. So what's the problem? Of course, it's government program spending. And this was the problem long before the Notley government took control. According to the report, spending increased an average of 7.1% per year between 2004 and 15, while revenues only increased at an average rate of 4.6%, showing that the government consistently spends more than what it brings in, and they don't rein it in when times are bad. Actually, all of these deficits could have been surpluses had the government stuck with limiting spending to inflation and population growth, according to the report. And even though this problem started long before the NDP came into the picture, they're making it worse. Program spending will increase by 7.5%, including the expenses accumulated from the Fort McMurray wildfires, which, quite frankly, yes, the province had to increase spending to cover the costs of a natural disaster, but this could have been mitigated by decreasing spending on other programs like healthcare, which is the biggest line item in Alberta's budget. This is the first time that the province is actually borrowing money to cover the costs of Alberta Health's operating expenses, and wage increases have been suggested for employees at a time when spending absolutely needs to be curtailed. So it looks like we can't continue to use low oil prices as an excuse for bad spending habits. I got to talk with Ben Eisen through email. He's one of the authors of this report, and I asked him how we can dispel some of the common myths surrounding low oil prices and program cuts. In regard to low oil prices, which everyone loves to blame for the state of the Alberta economy, he says that the oil price fall certainly hurt Alberta's bottom line, but we would have been in a better position to weather the storm, and in fact would still be able to balance the books if we had managed spending choices differently in recent years. And then there's the common assumption that reducing program spending means sacrificing quality. Eisen tells me consistent deficits mean racking up a lot of debt, and that means significant resources have to go towards servicing that debt. He also says that this means less money for priorities like necessary public services and tax relief, and that this is why fiscal management is so important, because without fiscal management, it actually can become harder to fund high-quality public services over time. The bottom line, the Progressive Conservatives overspent on public programs, while the NDP are spending even more. Obviously, the PCs and the new government should have taken a page out of Ralph Klein's book in the 90s when he reduced spending by being prudent even during times when oil prices were low, which ended up in surpluses and reduced taxes. At this point, the NDP will be running a budget deficit of $10.8 billion, with tens of billions within the coming years being added to that. You know, they talk a lot about future generations and how we need to take them into consideration. But how can they possibly be being honest when they're saddling the people that they apparently care about the most with all of this debt? This really looks like this is a problem that just isn't going away for this government. For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to hit the YouTube subscribe button below so that you don't miss any of the Rebels content that you won't find anywhere else.